consistent and constant delivery. All our engines are coupled with an 8-speed automatic transmission that can offer two distinctive personalities, a sporty one and an efficient one. By selecting ratios and by selecting the gear shift mode, especially if you use the advanced efficiency mode on the selector knob, you get a fuel economy that ranges from 3 to 7%. In the manual mode instead, after selecting D on the selector knob, the gearbox becomes a real sequential sporty gearbox with a gear shift speed of between 20 to 30 milliseconds. Sizable investments have been made within the engineering group to obtain this original handling in the sporty mode, replicating some of the options that have already been made by another well-known brand that belongs to the group and that's very close to us in Modena. But to deliver all this power to the road, Stelvio has an all-wheel drive system called Alfa Q4. It's an on-demand system that cuts in, transferring torque to the front axle when and if required. This has enabled us to optimize car dynamics, obtaining all the benefits of all-wheel drive, stability, grip, and safety, but also benefiting from the responsiveness and driving pleasure of a typical rear drive model. Torque with our Q4 system is always delivered to the rear axle. But then there is a transfer cage, an electronically controlled clutch that transfers up to 50% of the torque instantaneously to the front wheels. Tomorrow, probably, if the roads are snowy, there will be extreme conditions we'll be driving in, but I can assure you, you'll find it very hard to notice the Q4 cutting in because it's all very smooth, very immediate, and also because the conditions really have to be extremely tough for Stelvio to need to transfer torque to the front axle. It happens very infrequently. Let's now move on to Stelvio's skeleton or body. The body comprises a platform and then aside from the structural elements, obviously movable elements like the hood or the doors. In this body we have a number of different materials that have been chosen on the basis of the type of efficiency required from each of the individual components. More specifically, in the case of components that have a mainly structural function, we've used an infinite number of different types of steels to ensure robustness and rigidity. Whereas when we have non-structural elements like the hood, the rear hatch door, the doors, we've instead used aluminum and carbon fiber. Additionally, all the Stelvios, just like Giulia, have a carbon fiber prop shaft, and this has enabled us to eliminate 15 kilos of weight by changing this component alone. And this is how we have a record weight figure which is 1,604 kilos with all fluids on board. It's a benchmark, and it makes Stelvio the lightest SUV in its class. This lightweight obviously also allows us to achieve record figures in terms of power to weight ratio. We have about 6 kilos per horsepower, which is the best ratio for all the 2 liters in this segment. So, we've said something about the heart, about the backbone. Let's now move on to Stelvio's brain. Dynamic performance and driving pleasure